Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
Hold on to your butts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basement Monsters podcast. Halftime Packers and Niners, and it looks like the blowout you were talking about. Honestly, in that first quarter, I thought they were going to be. I was like, oh, hey. I was like, hey, they had something going. I think, and I don't want to point out one little, penalty in the first quarter that might have turned the tide, but I mean, for the Niners, I think it did. There was a holding when they went back-to-back sweeps. They went one side and then went the other side, and there was a holding call on the second sweep, and that brought everything back and stopped all momentum. And because those are two big gaps. I mean, those are like 15-yard runs, both of them. And you get a stop there, going back with, or you get a penalty, going back with it, and then they stop you, going down. And it's been rough for the Niners, but 21-3 Packers lead, and it doesn't look like they're going to slow down anytime soon.
No, they're not going to catch them. It's too much. Like I said, the injuries is like, kudos to them for being able to hang in there as long as they possibly have. But I mean, you're talking people out for
a fucking half.
All right. No, I mean, just them this year with like it's an injury here. It's kind of like Tampa Bay, where it's just a carousel of injuries.
Right.
So kudos to them. Hanging in there as long as they have. But when you're playing people like Aaron Rodgers, that's going to be a glaring hole there in your team. I mean, it's just you just can't. There's just nobody that has that many great players on the team to sustain those kind of injuries.
Right, and that's on their defensive line. That's in their.
It's everywhere.
It's in every phase of the game. It's
every single important position has a huge injury.
Right, and it's
quarterback, tight end. You name it, they've got it.
And I forgot Aaron Jones was in today. We had totally skipped over the return of Aaron Jones. I was thinking they were going to be without any type of running.
Oh, we mentioned it. I said if he's in the game playing too, it's last I said they had him as questionable, so I picked him on DraftKings. So far it's working out.
Hey man, it's not bad. Aaron Rodgers, if you got him on anywhere, 149, 3 touchdowns.
He's not done.
He's not done. He took a sack late there, 1 for 11, and Aaron's been looking a little frustrated when he gets hit. He doesn't like to get hit first and foremost, but it's how he's getting hit and the timing of him getting sacked that seems to be frustrating him, because it always seems now that Aaron would get a key block, or there'd be something that go the Packers' way, but Aaron. Getting that, and he seems to be getting sacked a whole hell of a lot more. And that can't be allowed if you need Aaron Rodgers in the rhythm. I know it's the Niners right now, and they're hurt and everything like that, but you can't allow Aaron Rodgers to continue to get hurt, especially the way he got hit that last blind side from behind. Just the ball damn near came out.
Yeah,
you can't have that if you're the Green Bay Packers. You need to figure out a way to shore up that blind side of Aaron Rodgers, because that's. I mean, if he can't trust that you're going to block behind his ass, how is he going to make anything happen? You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you exactly how they're going to make it happen. They're going to pull his ass, and you're going to see Jordan Love today.
After a while, I'll say 2 more touchdowns.
Fourth quarter, guaranteed.
You see Jordan Love?
Yeah, I think he's coming in.
I can see that. Fourth quarter Jordan Love time. Garbage time.
Why not? Why risk it?
I mean, but they can't allow these guys to come back in. Like there can't be a
There can't be. Oh no! If San Francisco starts scoring, he'll be in.
Right, there can't be a second half touchdown expecting that. I mean, like to start. I mean, right off the bat. If the Packers score again, it's over.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about a field goal. If they score a field goal, if they kick a field goal, I believe it's over, because it's just like you said. It's just the injuries are just so insurmountable with San Francisco. You feel bad. You feel bad for them, but then you don't. You know what I mean? Because it's like, isn't that the MO of all runner-ups, Super Bowl runner-ups. You know what I mean? Isn't that the MO they had? Like they faltered the next year. I think that's like pretty much every single team, but like the Tennessee Titans maybe.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, it's sad to see, because you like to see football games, you like to see people compete, especially the big stars. You like to see all that, and then also with San Francisco being to where they were last year and then just getting decimated this year. It's part of the game, really. I mean, that's the only thing you can really say. I mean, it's a tough sport, and injuries happen, man. It just so happens that like their injuries are a little more severe than hamstrings and turf toe. They're season enders,
and they're not like two nonchalant players. These guys are like
upper echelon.
Yeah, that defensive line that was all world last year, that was breaking all sorts of records.
Yeah,
half of them are off that line. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's sad to see, but I mean, I'm sure Seattle's not crying about it. Arizona's not crying about it. Those two teams are definitely going to be taking advantage of this. Who knows? Maybe Arizona's like what we were talking. What was that Monday night about? These dark horse teams that may sneak in there with that extra playoff spot this year. Maybe Arizona. Who knows? It's
Arizona.
What's that?
I could see Arizona. Kyler Murray's been playing. He's been playing all world. They see how they beat the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks shot themselves in the foot, but I mean, they give them credit. They had the mean. They had the will, the talent, and the means to get that shit done. I mean, the defense looked good, and Kyler Murray was able to lead them down the field.
Yeah, and it's Russell Wilson too. I mean, like he up until that Cardinals game, I think he'd only thrown 3 interceptions, and then in that Cardinals game, he went ahead and threw a whole nother 3 interceptions. So, we'll see. I mean, I think Seattle is probably going to take that division hands down. But if Arizona keeps playing like they did against Seattle, then Seattle, they might be right on Seattle's heels, man. They might get interesting in that division.
It might. I mean, let's get back to this game right here. I know we're talking about the West as well as the NFC North, but for Green Bay, not laying an egg in this game is the best case scenario. Not giving an inch to a weak San Francisco team is probably the best case scenario, because now there's no questions after this week. You're going to go. I mean, barring an epic collapse, you're going to go to 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be ahead of the Chicago Bears in the NFC North. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep running the ball. Just keep running the ball. This Niners team will collapse if they lose the lead. I mean, or if they lose the lead, or if they would have just came out sluggish and it would have looked like that Tampa game.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have said there's a lot more questions for the Green Bay Packers. But I still think there is, just because. You're blowing out a Niners team, but what have we been saying all night? They're depleted.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. They're playing it's like you can't judge Green Bay on this game because they're playing basically second stringers. So yeah, any team should look good against this team. I mean, because it's just with just think about the knowledge and the leadership that all the guys that are hurt bring to that team. I mean, you're talking Richard Sherman. You're talking Nick Bosa, you're talking George Kittle, Garoppolo, like all your leaders of the team, both sides of the ball.
All the guys that took you to the Super Bowl are now. Yeah. So yeah,
they all got pom poms now. So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, Green Bay is just one time they're out there throwing up 5 touchdowns, just slinging it all over, and then the next game they're just getting gouged up the middle and. It's like a leaky faucet that they don't know how to fix.
Right.
So I mean, give Green Bay credit. I mean, they're doing what they need to do. They put points on the board, but you also can't just start showering them with praise, because the team you're doing it against is a half of a team pretty much.
Right, and you know what? You can't, especially since, like I mentioned, that defensive line is less than half of the defensive line it was last year, and they're still getting after Aaron Rodgers right now tonight. I mean. They've gotten to him once for a sack for 11, a loss of 11, but they're getting after him, and you see it coming. It's coming. The pressure's coming. Can that line of the Green Bay Packers even hold up? Like, can they hold up throughout the next few weeks? Let alone the whole season.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the question. I mean, because in the next couple of weeks, I mean, they're going to be playing the Bears, and they're going to, they're going to be like that. I mean, literally, if let's say, okay, Green Bay wins this game, and then I think they both have a game in between, and so if Green Bay loses that game, Chicago wins, then they're tied again. Then they play Chicago, and then bam, like this first place could go back and forth 3 or 4 times before the season is over, in between the Bears and Green Bay. So Green Bay just needs to keep doing what they're doing. You just got to keep scoring touchdowns. That's it. And try to build that lead in that division. But like we said, today they look great, but I mean they're playing a half of a team, and maybe the next week they come out and they get punched in the mouth again and can't stop the run. Luckily for them, Chicago doesn't have much of a run game, so maybe Green Bay could handle that. But I feel like that Chicago defense is going to expose that Green Bay line a little bit as well.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to, because I know we know what our offensive line is trash. We know our offensive line is trash. But if you look at the last 3 games for the Green Bay Packers, you got the Bucks with a loss. You got the Texans. You got the Texans. We all know who the Texans are. Honestly, the Texans are. I put them in that bottom tier with the Niners. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so they're pretty much the same team. So then you go ahead and the Vikings. You come back last week and you lose to the Vikings after getting gouged by Dalvin Cook. This Packers team is and the week before that like you did win against. Say, I'll give you credit. You beat the Saints. Well, you barely beat the Saints. That defense gave up 30 points. You could have gotten beat. You know what I mean? And and honestly, we know how that Saints defense. Like there's so much, like the parity in the NFL. Like everybody's closer than we really think.
Right.
Like everybody seems closer than we really think. And you got them losing to the Saints 30 or beating the Saints 37-30. Then going ahead and taking care of business against the Falcons and just getting absolutely throttled against the Bucks. And then last week against the 1-6 Vikings, they were then winless. So, for me, it's like Green Bay's susceptible to a lot. But everybody in that division, everybody in both leagues, I feel like, I mean, I really, besides Pittsburgh and Seattle, maybe, I don't know who's really running away. And we might see a Seattle-Pittsburgh rematch in the Super Bowl.
Though if it keeps going the way it's going, it's looking like more and more like it. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know what Green Bay has as far as the rest of their schedule. But I mean, have you guys played them once this year already, or you play them both towards the end of the season?
Both teams. We've only played the Lions.
Okay, so you'll play them twice. So I mean,
we'll play them after this week. Actually, we'll play the Vikings.
Yeah.
Week, and then it's the bye.
Right.
And it'll be the Packers.
Right. So, that's a good thing for Chicago. It gives them, another game to kind of tune some things up if they can. And then they can, they get that week where they can, maybe get some guys, get some rest, maybe get a few more guys back on the field. Who knows? But I don't see that Green Bay offensive line really stopping that Chicago Bears pass rush. But then again, Rodgers can get the ball out quick, and then vice versa. That game could be the Chiefs Rams from like 2 years ago, because if neither of them have, one of them, the offense can't do really much, but they have a great defense, and on the other side, they don't have a great defense, but they have a great offense. So that game could really get. I mean, it could. Who knows what could happen in those 2 games, especially be with both of those guys at the top of the division. That's what I was saying. Like we could have a new first place in that division every other week from here on out.
The thing is that, like, who do you trust more, the Green Bay defense or the Chicago Bears offense? And right now, it's the Green Bay defense.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, as bad as they are, the Bears offense has been even worse.
Yeah.
But, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I feel like I still feel like, and we're looking. I think I was looking at a picture. It was like a 2010 or something like that. I think Brandon posted it. And it was a picture of 18. This point of the season, 18. The Bears' record is 5-3. They're on top of the NFC North, and the Minnesota Vikings are 5-3, right behind them, with the Green Bay Packers and Lions following. So I mean, and I also heard Olin Kreutz on Keeping It 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network. You know those guys, Phil and Shane and shit.
Yep.
They were talking to Owen Krutz, and he was like pretty much saying, and for me, it's just I don't know. It's more or less like you got Green Bay, you have the Packers that know who they are on offense, and you got the Bears, right? Mm-hmm. So like the Bears are coming in, and you have no identity still. You still are lacking. So why are you going ahead and allowing yourself, your team, to continue to be mediocre? Like why are you going ahead and allowing yourself to be like not tough? And that was my point. So like my point is that the middle of that season, like they became tough. That offense wasn't really great in 18. The offense wasn't great, I think, back in 2010 or 2011. I forgot which one it was. But they ended up making the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. So my point is, it's like as bleak as it's looked on offense, the Bears have a great defense, and Trent Dilfer, all he had to do was his job, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to be all world. All he had to do was his job, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl. But I think Nick Foles needs to be a little bit more than Trent Dilfer. But obviously, if Nick Foles can do enough, if you could find a way to freaking block for his ass to get you to the Super Bowl, it's just, it's Ryan Pace's lack of fucking bolster, like lack of adding depth, lack of picking number ones that actually were successful. It all falls back down on the shoulders of Ryan Pace, and I think Matt Nagy might end up getting the axe because of Ryan Pace's failures as well as his own. It's not his fault that he doesn't have the personnel, but shit, man, you got to adjust to your personnel as a coach. A good coach adjusts to his personnel and gets the job done. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. I mean that I think about with the Bears. I mean, we all know the Trubisky story, but at this point now, with your line being so beat up, to me, I would rather have Mitch Trubisky back there and be rolling that pocket instead of making those guys stand there and have to beat their man one-on-one. Let him get on the move. Let him get somebody out in space. Let Trubisky run over here. That way they're not having to stand there and just being attacked, and letting things go. I think they're going to have to address it. But I mean, I don't even know. I saw something that said Mitch's shoulder might be hurt or something like that too. So they've got something to figure out. Yeah, he got hurt on his one and only play last week where Charles Leno Jr. just missed his block and decided to go to the second level without hitting the first guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, he ended up getting hurt, but I mean, am I surprised? No. Every time Mitch goes down on his shoulder, he fucking hurts that thing. So it's like, that ship has sailed. I'm already beyond Mitch. I'm looking at how are we going to get to a playoff, and then from there, how the hell are we going to find a way to win a playoff game with the offense that we have? Yeah, I mean that's that getting that extra spot in the playoffs now that could help the Bears as well. It could easily be Green Bay and Chicago both getting in there and playing a third game. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many scenarios right now with the teams and like these injuries and this COVID thing. Like it's we could sit here and talk about it all day, but at the end of the day, I have a feeling it's going to be two teams that neither of us are talking about. They're going to end up in the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm sure. And then as you see Devontae Adams, another long. Is he going to stand? No, he's not. Nope. Another long bomb, and this game is pretty much wrapped. That game is pretty much a wrap, 21-3. But yeah, I feel like you're right. But for me, with the Bears, like I said, everything goes through Lambeau. There's no need to beat around the fucking bush when it comes. If you really want to be a good team, you got to beat them. You have to beat them because you have to win the division. I know they got the extra playoff spot, but do you really trust with the West being the best division in the NFC with 3 potential playoff teams? Do you really want to trust that you're going to squeak it out? Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, it's as the number 2 in the division, you have to beat the Packers. You have to beat the Vikings. Like there's no and you have to beat the Vikings not only because they're in your division, but because they're a bad fucking team. Right. Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's going to be crazy, man. I mean, there's just so many scenarios like all around. I mean, like look at the NFC South now. Look at the Panthers. The Panthers aren't horrendous.
Mike Davis has been toting the load, and now you're going to get McCaffrey back. So who's to say that maybe the Panthers don't come out and smack New Orleans and Tampa Bay in the mouth, and maybe go on a little bit of a run themselves? I mean, who knows at this point? I mean, like we could sit here, the Steelers are undefeated. Okay, that's great, but that's not going to last forever. And they're one injury away from losing the next 6 games because Big Ben gets hurt at any point, it's over.
Grabbing that elbow, he keeps grabbing that. I don't want to say reconstructed, but I guess surgically repaired elbow. Surgically repaired is the word. Surgically repaired elbow, and he keeps grabbing it every week. Every week, something, anything for anything, just a regular pass.
Yeah,
the elbow sometimes. So I'm like, when is it going to happen that you don't get that pass protection that you're expecting, and you take a wallop? Because Ben ain't anywhere.
No, he's not. That's what I'm saying. Like they're literally one injury away from losing the next 6 games. You know what I mean? Because we all know the Mason Rudolph project doesn't work. Nope. So yeah, I mean it just where it looks like right now, it's like they can tell they're the best. That's great, but I mean, the Steelers were in a tough one with Baltimore. And like I said, we all know, and Green Bay's probably in that boat. Tampa's in that boat. I mean, there's a lot of teams in that boat. One quarterback going down, and all those teams that I just mentioned take a turn for the worst in a hurry.
No doubt. And it's starting to get chippy over in Green Bay right now. I mean, not in Green Bay, over in San Francisco. Jones got thrown down, and then he got into it with a linebacker. It looked kind of funny. He started grabbing face mask. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to watch this second half debacle. Hopefully it gets better. I doubt it, but hopefully there's a miracle in the making, and this game gets to be a little bit more interesting. All right, guys, we're going to take off. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Luke Nettles. This has been the Basement Monsters podcast on Sports Zone Chicago. We'll see you in the post.